Hello and welcome and good day everybody. Today we want to create a simple application, a mobile application with Android Studio, which will maintain students' record, including his or her ID, name, surname, and marks, and also in the end a grade, which will automatically be calculated and stored and also retrieved. So let's do this. Student data is the project name we're creating. We need it for API level 19. And we create an empty project and we leave this as it is, and we want to uh, wait till this comes up. We will design the activity first. One activity for inserting record, another activity for reading, updating, and deleting records. This is what we're going to create. So we open the resources. You see the r.layout over here. This R stands for these resources and whatever is inside this. So I'm going to go to the layout where all activities are designed. So right now there's this main activity. I'm going to get rid of this, and I create a vertical layout, for example, first of all inside, and this inside this vertical layout I create a horizontal layout, and this horizontal layout is roughly this size, and in this layout I have customer, student, ID, name, surname, and marks. And now notice, because ID, what I'm going to do here is, since ID is supposed to be something which is automatically increased, so I will not be uh, dragging and dropping this over here. So I only need a text field here, so I'll say customer or student name should be inside this layout, the horizontal layout, and also student name, surname, and marks. So let's do this. I mean, if since it's very simple, so I just drag and drop this inside the top level linear layout and I get rid of this. So it's inside the vertical layout. So this is the name, and then we need to have surname, marks. So I'll drag this again, name, surname. This is supposed to be marks, so I'll drag numeric, which is number, and then another text field which is supposed to be for grades, and nothing will be entered here. This is supposed to be non-editable. Now this one over here is my name text field, so I'm gonna leave this blank, but name txt is the ID I gave it. The second one is surname txt, and then the third one is marks txt, and the fourth one is grade txt. Okay, so I've got these in the beginning. I save this. This is my insert page or insert activity. I will drag and drop my button here, which should come in the end, and this button should have this text: insert record, insert student record, and this one is insert btn. Okay, another button over here should be to go to the read page. So I'm gonna drag and drop this here, and this should go to the read page. This is read student record, and this is read btn. Okay, I designed this interface and I save everything here. Okay, I'm gonna populate this with hint, which is like placeholder, and this is enter name, and this will be enter surname, and this one is the marks, by default is 0, and this one is the grade. So or none. So this is what I do. no grade in the beginning. So this is just empty or default text. So I'm gonna save this. Make sure you keep saving this, otherwise if you go back to the Java without saving this, you know, these names which you have given, insert btn, read btn, marks, txt, they will not be available in Java. So this is my one layout. I'm gonna create another layout. Right click, new activity, empty activity, and this is read activity. Okay, so I create another read activity and I open the interface. On this interface again, I need to have a vertical layout first, and inside this vertical layout I now have plain text view which is for the ID. Now there was no ID in the insert. Now there will be an ID over here, because in the database, whatever the database ID is, which is automatically increasing, it will come up here. This is ID, and then a text field here. I'm gonna use plain text field for name, another plain text field for surname, another one which should be number for grades, another plain text for this one is for the grades, for the previous one was for the marks. And now let's give this an ID. A text is the ID which will be displayed, so ID is ID text view. Let me just remove the default text, whatever it is. Okay, now this one should be name txt. Now why this is txt and this one is tv, which is text view? Because this is the ID, this is the text view, and this is the edit text, which is supposed to be changed. I can change the name, I can change the grades, I can change the score, I can change the surname, but the ID, which is the database generated, is I don't want to change it. So this is name txt, and then this one should be surname txt, and this one should be score txt, or marks txt. Did I keep it in the beginning? I don't know. Marks txt, and this one should be grade txt. Okay, and this one was what? Grade txt. This really should be text view, but it doesn't matter now. Okay, since we've already created, this is name, surname, marks, and grade, which should automatically be given if it's A, B, C, D, E, or F. And then this activity read has an ID, which is a text view, which, because it's non-editable, name, surname, marks, grade. So we also have this here, name, surname, marks, and grade. Okay, so that's pretty much. Now there should be a button here to insert, to read, and also update and delete, and then go back to the home. So let's do this. I create a horizontal layout here now. Excuse me. After this, should not be at the top, should be somewhere down. It should be inside the vertical layout, and it should be down. Yeah, so this layout should be for update and delete, and I'll have another layout for the read and read next. So another layout for the read button. Yeah, one layout for read button, another layout for update and delete. Let's do that. So I add another button here called read next. Okay, read next, and this one is read next btn, and then another layout for update and delete. So I'm gonna add these buttons, two buttons again on top of it. This button is update btn, and this one is delete btn. Okay, so I'm gonna save this. If you want to put these in the center, obviously you go to the layout and gravity, and you say center vertical will be vertically centered, center horizontal will be horizontally centered too. And if you want both of these things in one click, you just click on center. Okay, I'm gonna do that again for the other layout also. This layout should have update inside, so I'm gonna just drag and drop this inside, and this has something similar, delete and update. And since it's a horizontal, these two will appear next to each other. Alright then, so too much for the interface. There's one more. Yeah, there's one more I will add over here, home. So let's say we add here home, so it goes back to the main page. So just drag and drop this here, it goes back to the home page or the insert button, whatever you want to call it. Home, or this one is home btn. Okay, I save everything, and now I'm gonna go to my main activity is supposed to make connection with everything which is there. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, I need 6 connections: name, surname, text views, uh, marks, grade, insert btn, read btn. So I'm gonna do that here quickly. This is what name, surname, marks, grade, what else, name, surname, marks, grade, insert btn, read btn. Okay, insert button, read button. Okay, so these are the 6 things I need connections with. So I will just create this final text, edit text, name txt is equal to edit text. You typecast it over here, find view by id, r.id dot, which means whatever, this is the resources which represents this R. Inside this, my layout, so I've given them IDs. So you remember, drawables can also have IDs, values can also have ID. So I say I need to find the resource by ID, which has an ID, name txt. So make sure this is name txt here, which I'm looking for. R.id dot name txt. So I write this over here, name txt, and now I need to just copy and paste this here. This is supposed to be surname txt, and this is also marks txt, surname txt. Now you may get confused which ones, you see, because both of the activities have the same names over here. This is id tv, name txt, surname txt, marks txt, grade txt. This is the reading one, and this is name txt, surname txt, marks txt, grade txt. Now if you are getting confused, you can just put the txt before, as you may want to. So let's do that. I think it's gonna be workable. Surname txt, and this one is marks txt, and then also final edit text, grades txt is equal to edit text, and I'm gonna find you by id, r.id dot grade txt. So I've got these 4 things, and then insert button, final button, insert btn is equal to button, and I say find view by id, r.id dot insert btn, and also alt enter to solve the problem. I'm gonna copy it this time. This is read btn. Okay. Alright, so let's click the listener for these two. First of all, I'm going to create the listener for read btn. Read btn dot set on click listener, new space, control space, on click listener is what I have here, and I'm gonna do this. uh, Create intent to go to the read activity. Okay, so I say intent, read intent is equal to new intent, and it'll be this class main activity dot this, and comma, it should go to read dot class. Okay, insert, it's complaining, alt enter will solve your problem, and then I'm going to start this activity. Start activity read intent. Okay, so this is creating the activity, and this code is starting the activity to connect to the read activity, starting the intent. And if you like, you can just run this app to okay, so it goes to the read. My mouse isn't working over, so I clicked, nothing happened. So I need to do the to do this for the home also in the next activity. So now right now we need to insert this into the database. So let's do that for the read btn we have just finished. Let's do that for insert btn. So this is what I'm going to do after this. Just before the function finishes, this function finishes, I need to create listener for insert button. Okay, so insert btn dot set on click listener, new space, control space, on click listener, and here I need to have a few things. So remember, when you're creating the connection to the database, you need to have database name, you need to have when you're doing inserting, you need to have the table name also. So let's do that here quickly. Instead of writing this into the query, you may create variables. That's another approach, and I found some people find it easy, so I'm gonna do that here. String database name is equal to, I'm gonna call it student db. Remember, we have student before also, so I'm gonna just change this to student db. String table name is equal to student grade, and then I say id, name, surname, marks. So string id is equal to id. Where is this id coming from? This will be automatically inserted. String name is equal to name, and then string surname. I'm writing these in capital because these are fixed values. And then string marks. Okay, id, name, surname, marks, and also grade. String grade is equal to grade. Okay, I saved that just now. And then within the on create state, I will actually create the connection to the database. So let's do that here. SQLite database db is equal to open or create database, and I'm gonna create the database here by this name which I have just created. Student database name, database underscore name, capital, sorry, database name, comma, mode, mode, private, and null. Okay, so I create a connection with the database. Now the next thing I want to do is to run the query, and also of course before running the query I need to read these values: name, surname, marks, and based on the marks I will decide the grades also, and I'm gonna show this over there too. So this is a null. I'm gonna just change this back here. So string name is equal to name txt dot get text dot toString dot trim is many times feasible. If the user has written spaces before or after the text, the trim will actually cut them off from the two ends. String surname is equal to surname txt dot get text dot toString dot trim. Okay, so then the third thing is name string marks is equal to marks txt dot get text dot toString dot trim, and I'm gonna change this to integer in a minute, integer or float in a minute. And then we also have grades, which we will be recording by ourselves. So string num marks, meaning marks is number, is equal to marks or integer dot parse int marks. So I change that to the number, and it's not string, it's a float or int if you like. Integer dot parse int, it should be float actually, float dot parse int. So you actually float yeah, it should parse float, not parse file, float dot parse float string. So change string to float, because the marks can also be in points. So what I'm doing now is that I say if num marks is greater than 88, then I have another string here, string grade is equal to nothing at the moment. I'll say if it is more than 88, then grade is equal to a, else if num marks is greater than let's say 80, grade is equal to b. Why is it so much? Okay, else if num marks is greater than 70, grade is equal to c, else if num marks is greater than 60, grade is equal to d. Okay, else grade is equal to f. A B C D F, there's no E. So 88, 80, 70, 60, if that's range, then it's gonna be accordingly the grade. So we want to now insert this into the database. So before we did something like this with the college, the name, college, and phone. We were recording insert into student values. There's a little bit of peculiarity over here. You need to see a little closely where to start and where to close these. So you can do like this also if you like. And then there's another method I wanted to show to you, which is a little easier if you like, in which we will insert this content values. So these will become the values. So we'll just create a values separately, and we'll just tell the database that these are the values. So all the commas and double quotes, it will insert automatically. So let me just try to show you how to do that. First of all, we need to create table. Whenever you inserting, make sure the table is existing. So if it is not existing, it will automatically it should automatically be uh, created. Just a second. So this was to insert into the table, and this was to create the table, if you remember. So we are gonna do something similar now. So we're gonna type here db.exec_sql, and inside this create table if not exists. What's the table name? Now I will use the table name which I have created here, so later on I can actually use the table name, change the table name from there, table name plus id. Now id you're not entering from the customer is not entering from the text box, you will automatically increase it. So id integer, and this is much better, id integer, and this is primary key auto increment. You just need to write this, and then the other things are same or similar, name, text or varchar. Yeah, we'll stick to varchar, and then we have surname varchar, phone also sorry, not phone but marks varchar, grade varchar, marks varchar, grade varchar. Okay, so what you can do, marks integer you can do, I mean, to just to make more sense, marks integer because it's a number coming from there. So you can convert this into integer and store, in which case you should also convert this. Now this closes here, just to see this a little closely. Yeah, after this table name there should be a bracket here which starts here, and this should be here, opening bracket, closing bracket. Yeah, everything else looks great. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the insertion. Okay, so now since we have read all these values, what we will do is we will say we need content values is equal to new content values. Okay, we got the values, and now I'll say values dot put id, name, surname, grade, marks, grade. Okay, so since id is automatic, so I'll say name